Brenton DeFlitch, WCPA's Literacy Director. I'm here today to talk to you about Google Classroom, which is the primary form of exchanging materials and returning completed materials for many grades in our remote learning currently. What you see now on the screen is Google Classroom's homepage once you are logged in. Most of our students are using Chromebooks, so they are probably already logged in since they do that to log into the device. Now, up here you will see classroom.google.com is the URL in any browser you are using to be able to get to Google Classroom. Now, on this basic layout, we have a couple things. In this corner, we have our 3 bars, which will give us our menu. We have classes that your student is enrolled in. And then over here, we have the plus sign, which allows you to join a class. The waffle board, which are these dots, give you access to the other Google apps in our suite provided by the school. And then this right here is your account icon. This one is important because if you click on it, you'll notice that sometimes, depending on the computer you are on, you might have your personal Gmail as well. It is important that you see the picture and the email address here that coordinates with our school's email address for students. So now, looking over here, let's head back over to the menu because there are some helpful points to the menu. If I click on these lines, I see that this button here always brings me back to the basic outline of all the classes. I can also see a calendar, which will outline work that is due or when it should be due. This might be helpful as a parent to kind of outline what work your child needs to be completing each day throughout the week. This might be a good time to, over the weekend, do a screenshot or print the page or take a picture on your cell phone. And then you have an outline of kind of how things are going to be turned in. So I'm going to go back to the home page here by clicking on the classes. I also see there's another button here that says to do. Now, your students will not have this top one that says teaching. They will only see the one that says enrolled. So let's say I'm a student and I click on the to do button as a student. It lists out the work that I have not completed yet, as well as the date it was due. So as a parent, this would be an easy check to go and click on your 3 bars, then to click on the to do, and then you can see the missing work that your student still needs to complete. You can see up here, they'll organize the ones that have due dates first. And if I scroll down, I'll see additional work that teachers might have assigned but not have a due date on it yet. Also on this page, you can click on done to see the work that your student has turned in as well. So you can see the work that they are completing and turning in each day. Now for some of our students, they have several Google Classrooms. So sometimes it's good to separate out the classroom by its subject. So we see the arrow here by all classes. If I click on that, I can bring down and show just my ELA course as a student. Or I can click and show just another class as a student. Or if I want to see them all together, I can see all classes. And then I can see the colors here help break up the different classes. All right, so if I go back to the menu again, I'm going to click the home page for classes, go back to the main home page, and I'm going to scroll down. Again, you see the classes here, which you can click on to get to your class as well. So I'm going to say that I'm an 11th grade student and I am logging in. I would come here and click on ELA 11 with my teacher, Mr. Ramiro. This will take me to my student or my own ELA class homepage in Google Classroom. Now notice the menu bar is still there so that you can navigate back if you need to, or if you want to go back to the calendar to see all the work that's due, you can get there as well. So here we have a menu bar at the top with 3 options, which are Stream, that's the page we're on, Classwork, and People. Notice that these are still the same on each side. So we are on the Stream page. This is the main page for students as they navigate Google Classroom. One thing I like as a parent is that it has the box of upcoming work over here. So we can see that if my student hasn't completed work yet, it would pop up here, which I could then click on and go directly to that work. So for here, I clicked View All. Here is all the work that is here. So I can see that I have 2 missing assignments, and I have 2 that I turned in. They also have exactly when they are due in this column as well. But as this list gets longer, you might want to try to sort it. So you could say, what assignments has my student received a grade on? And I have none. Which ones I have been assigned? And which ones am I missing? Then you have the back arrow here. Let's head back to the stream page. So I can click on the title right here, which will take me back to the stream page. And we can see right now I have no work that is due soon, but I do have some missed assignments. Now the stream will hold all the work that students have been receiving in this specific Google Classroom. One thing to keep in mind as a parent, and this is a helpful tool, is that the most recent should always appear at the top of the list. As they complete it, it will drop down, but the most recent work, which has yet to be completed, will be at the top of this list. So that's an easy way as a parent to kind of look over what they should be working on the most. Now we do see a bar here that says share with your class, and this would give me the ability to post. However, right now, we want to keep the streams open for teachers to provide work to the students. So this would not be probably the right place to share a question or a greeting. I will show that in a moment. So I'm going to go to this assignment at the top, and I'm going to click on it. By doing that, I can then see several things. So first here we have the title at the top. So I know this is assignment 1, making the purchase. Right here I know that it is worth 10 points. Here I can see the teacher, and I can see the information of when it was posted. So I can see that the teacher posted on the 13th, and then edited, changed it, added resources on the 15th. And it was due on April 14th. This section here is the directions. As a parent, I think this part is extremely vital to pay attention to and maybe the best point of help to give many of our students. Some students rush into doing the work, and really the most important step is looking at the directions to know exactly what it is you need to do before you should do it. So right here, I can read through and say the first thing I need to do is to create a Google Doc and answer the following prompt. Now to do that step, there's a couple ways. A student could go to their Drive and open up a new Google Doc, but you can also come over here to where it says your work. It says add or create. So I'm going to click add. Now the directions tell me a Google Doc, so I'm going to click add and go down to docs. It is now going to create an automatic Google Doc that I can submit directly. So as I'm waiting for that to create, I can come back over and say, think about the times you have made an important purchase. Before you go out and spend your money, usually think about several different things before making your decision. Some examples might be buying shoes, clothes, phone, or game system. I might take a moment and jot down some ideas, and then I'm going to open up my Google Doc. And now I have this fresh sheet where I can start typing my response. So I would type my response in this document. When I'm done and I understand and read the rest of the directions, I know I need 2 paragraphs, so I'm going to quote unquote pretend that I have my 2 paragraphs because I'm sure nobody wants to write 2 paragraphs. And then I can also look and click on this link here from Mr. Amiro, who provided an example. So I can look to see what I wrote and then look to see what the teacher wrote and say, do they look the same? Now I can see here that the teacher went above the minimum amount of 2 paragraphs to really provide what a high-level exemplar would look like. So I could say, does mine look like the teacher's? No, it doesn't. So I should probably go back in and change it. So if I click off back here, I want to come back and say, you know what? Maybe I need additional help on this assignment. So what I might do is come down here and say, I could ask the whole class, hello everyone. Does anyone have other examples or ideas on words to use in this response? And I can click this here, and now it's going to post to the class in just this specific assignment. And I can always come back here and delete it as well. But it's now going to notify the teacher and probably notify many of the students. And they might be able to come in and give some direct help on this assignment. So if you're looking for having your student reach out to other students, this is a great place to do that. They could say, hey, I don't understand how long the paragraphs should be. And they can keep adding in additional questions, and other students and or the teacher will come in and respond. Now, if you wanted to message the teacher directly about this assignment and get the fastest response, you could also plug it in right here. So I could say, I am struggling to complete this writing. What other topics can I write about? And if I send this, it's going to send this message directly to the teacher, and it'll just be between the two of us. So no other students will see that. This might be a great place as a parent that if your child is struggling and you are also sort of looking and saying, I'm not sure what to do, this would be a great place to go in and to send a message to the teacher as well. But again, you also have phone numbers, you have Zoom links, and you have emails as well. Okay, so I asked my questions. I'm going to now come back and pretend that I have my second paragraph here. And I have completed all of my writing. I need to make sure that I turn it in, because if I leave it like this, it'll stay as missing and the teacher will not be able to count it, review it, provide feedback, and score it. If I had additional documents I needed to create or attach, I would just click here. But for this one, I just needed to submit this one Google Doc with my 2 paragraphs. So I'm going to go ahead and click turn in because mine is done. It's going to say, are you sure you want to turn in your work? Is this all you need? So this is a good chance to double check, like, okay, all I need is one Google Doc. I have my one Google Doc. I'm going to click turn in. And so now it is turning in and submitting it to the teacher. And we can see here, I didn't turn it in on time. I turned it in late. And that notification is there. And it will stay there too. So if you go back to the assignments as a parent, you can see which assignments they turned in on time and which assignments they've turned in late. Now let's say I turned it in and oh man, I forgot it said it needed 2 paragraphs and I only did 1. What do I do? Because right now, if I were to click on it, it is actually locked for grading and the teacher has primary access to it. So right now I can only read it. So if I need to make changes before the teacher grades it, I'll click unsubmit and it'll say unsubmit what you've done. Don't forget to resubmit again. So I'm going to click unsubmit. Now I can click on this again and I will have access now to work on my document. So I'm going to go ahead and click turn in again. Now, one piece of advice as a parent, and we are hearing this from talking to parents across all the grades, is that students might be showing you, your child might be showing you, that it says that they turned in the work, and so they did the work. One thing you might want to do is say, okay, let's go ahead and click on that assignment and see what work you did. And so the child says they're turning it in, and then you click on the link, and then you see, oh, it said 2 paragraphs, but you only have 2 sentences. And you can say, maybe we forgot to write the rest, or maybe we turned in the wrong document. And so that might be a good point to say, you need to unsubmit the assignment, and then make sure that you have your minimum of 2 paragraphs for that. Okay, I'm going to head back out to the class. And again, I can click on this link here. And you can now see where the class comments are showing up. The teacher has access to my previous information. And so just again to show you that I've completed this one. So if I was going in here as a parent and not a student, I would just quickly look for what is needed, create a Google Doc and compose 3 paragraph response. So I should see a document, boom, I see my kid's document. And then do they have 3 paragraphs? So if I just stop here and say, well, they turned it in, it must be done, I'm not sure if they have 3 paragraphs. So if I have the time, I might take that moment to click on it and go, oh, you know what? They just wrote, here are my amazing 3 paragraphs. Okay, let's go ahead and unsubmit that, and let's do it again, okay? And make sure we have 3 paragraphs in this response this time. And again, if your child is struggling or feeling frustrated, our teachers are more than willing to help out, and you can use the comments, the email, and the Zoom to get there. Okay, so I'm coming back out to the class page. This is the bulk of what you need to know about the stream. I would say the next part is the classwork, which kind of shows all the work in one location. So you can kind of see if they are grayed out, that means that the student has clicked on them. If they are still blue, the student hasn't even opened the assignment yet, so they wouldn't be sure about exactly what they need to be doing. I can also see it by week, so I can see 4/13 to 4/17. Here is all of the assignments in one place that you should be working on. So that might be a good place as a parent, rather than going to the stream and clicking on all of these individual ones. You could go to classwork and then click on this week. Some additional things to look at. You can see view your work, which goes back to the previous page we looked at. Now you can see the one, this used to say missing, but now it says turned in and done late. But we can still see I have one missing assignment that I need to complete. So I'm going to go back to classwork. You can also click on Google Calendar, which will take you to your student's Google Calendar, and it will outline all of their assignments and events. The Class Drive folder goes to a specific folder where these documents are kept. This link is rarely used for students unless there's something they forgot the title of. But having most of the work created within Google Classroom helps with those steps. Now the people link, if I were to click on the people link, it'll have a list of the teachers and any co-teachers, so I could click there to message them. It'll also have a list of all the students. So that might be a good way to say, hey, reach out to one of your classmates about you struggling, and they might be able to find somebody in class to get some help with their work to keep moving forward. Now, a couple of the things that I want to kind of reiterate is that directions are super important. And again, just going through and finding where those directions are. Most of the time, they are embedded within assignments. We can also see that there's a different type of post called an announcement a teacher can make. And this is where they post kind of directions and more text-based things directly into the stream itself. And looking at the work itself is probably one of the most important things, just being able to look at the work and make sure that the child has kind of like met the minimum for that specific assignment. Okay, again, this has been Brenton DeFlitch, the Literacy Director for WCPA. I hope this introduction to Google Classroom has helped as well. If you guys have additional questions or would like additional videos, please, as always, reach out to your teachers or school leaders, and we will make sure that the appropriate department is able to help you out with those as well. All right, thank you.